Welcome back to the attic with Jacob and
Jacob. Today we are here with the local legend, C.More,
It's a pleasure
also
to
known
be
as
here.
Carter Morgan. What were you
Oh,
saying?
yeah. I said it's a pleasure to be here, Jacob and Jacob.
Hey, we're glad to have you here in the attic. So we want to start off with asking you a couple questions.
For sure.
All right, so we're gonna start off with what got you into making your own music?
Making my own music. That's actually a funny story. So, I grew up in church. My parents were really strict. So I couldn't listen to like rap music and stuff like that. But the music I could listen to just blows, bro. It sucks. And like so I would write Christian remixes to like rap songs, and then I would sing it and stuff like that. And that's where I started writing my own music. And then later on, my cousin got connected with a local rapper around here and started making music with him. And I decided to give it a shot. So I hit that dude up. Got in the studio with him, wrote a couple songs. That's where I got my start, yeah.
what music did you listen to?
What music did I listen to? You talking
Yeah.
about as a kid?
Yeah, like what music were you allowed to listen to?
Okay, so Lecrae wasn't a bad one. He's pretty solid. And your typical K-Love music on the Christian radio.
What about like Chance the Rapper? Because I believe like he was considered a Christian rapper.
I really didn't even know who he was back then. I don't even know if he was I don't think he had
Yeah, I don't
came
know if
out
he,
back then.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure when he came out.
But yeah.
Well, who specifically inspires you, like artist wise?
Well, my first inspiration that really got me really hooked on just music, and everybody likes music, but when I started taking it to a deeper level and really feeling passionate about music was NF. Hearing NF and just the depth to his lyrics, and yeah, that was my first inspiration. And then I'd say my biggest inspiration of all is the one and only Pedro enchufe.
Okay, that's a good plug. I respect that.
And I think that's more so because he's from where I'm from. Seeing what he did from where he came from makes it all feel a little more possible. And yeah, I really look up to him.
So he kind of helps you make you feel like if he can do it, anybody can do it type of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So the next one we got is how long did it take you to build your confidence, like in your songs and in your voice?
Man, a long time. I used to get in the studio and it would just be me and my friend. I don't even want to name drop him, bro. Do I have to name drop
No, you don't
him?
have to name drop.
I'm going to name drop him. Kari.
I actually know who that is.
Yeah. Oh, fuck that kid. But yeah, that's where I did a lot of my first music, just recording with him, and it would just be me and him, and I'd be so nervous every time I got in the studio, man. And man, it took a long time, a really long time, and I started getting kind of comfortable with him, and then I started going over to Azimuth to record in Indianapolis, and I was nervous as hell the first time I recorded there. But the first couple songs I recorded, the engineers were fucking with it heavy, so that kind of boosted my confidence a lot. And
Okay.
after that, it's been pretty smooth, unless I have a couple bad sessions in a row, and then I'm like, damn, I think I lost it.
So what advice would you give to people who want to create their own music? Like, what would you tell them to focus on?
First of all, if you just start, you need a minute to see what you're capable of before you drop anything. I remember when I first started, as soon as I recorded something, I would want to drop it. So your first song you drop is going to get the most attention. Everybody you know is going to hear what you drop first. And then after your first song, that's when you lose a lot of that initial attention that you get. So I would practice. I tell people, you want to be recording stuff and practicing for over a year before you drop your first song. You got to really get polished and know what you're capable of. And then after that, I think the biggest thing is investing into your craft once you get good enough. So don't short on anything. Don't sacrifice quality for, the money. Don't go to every extent you can. Invest in a quality studio. Invest in high budget music videos. Invest in good promotion. Because at the end of the day, after you get out of high school, if you haven't made it yet, that's the only thing that's going to get you to make it. So once you're out of high school, everybody kind of stops talking about you. Okay. And it's a lot harder after that.
Yeah, I would say first impressions are definitely the most important.
For sure.
Now, with your writing, do you prefer to freestyle or do you sit down and write music?
It takes me forever to write a song. So the last song I put out, Grace, I wrote the very beginning to it, like the first few bars to it, one day. Actually, my friend Matt made the beat. I was on his SoundCloud, and I clicked on the beat, and as soon as I heard it, I knew I wanted to use it. Like the first 3 seconds, I was like, damn, I love this. And so I wrote a little something to it. Then a couple months later, I wrote a little more. A couple months later, I wrote a little more. A couple months later, I finished it. So it really takes me a long time to write things. I suck at freestyling, and I never really sit down and write a whole song in one day.
Is your connection to the beat very important to you?
For sure. Well, elaborate on that. What do you mean by that?
Like how the beat makes you feel, like when you first listen to it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's everything. When I'm going through beats and stuff like that, I listen to the beginning, and typically if I don't like the very beginning, I'm off it. Like, it's got to make me feel some type of way, because that's what I write the song to, whatever emotion it gives me. I close my eyes, I listen to the beat, and wherever it takes me, that's where I start writing. And if it don't take me anywhere, I just go to the next beat.
Okay, so in that, keeping on the beats, when you hear the beat, do you immediately start to you come up with the melody, and how do you come up with your writing process? I know you said you do portions, but do you just re-listen to the first half, or do you play it all the way through and try to pick the part you want to write to that part of the song?
So a lot of my songs is storytelling, even if it's not directly storytelling, there's a story underneath it. So whenever I listen to a beat, typically it'll take me back to something that happened to me. You know what I mean? If I'm going to write to a song, it's because it took me back to a certain situation or day or just a time period in my life. And I think about what I felt in that time period, and then I'll start writing off of that. Or if it takes me back to a specific occasion, I'll start writing off of that. Like the last song I dropped, Grace, again, the beat instantly took me back to this specific day. And I wrote the whole song about what happened that day and what went down that day and stuff like that. So yeah, my music's typically really personal to me, and I try to still leave that gap for people to interpret it for themselves.
Okay.
But it means something very specific to me. It might mean something different to whoever listens to it. You know what I mean?
So with all your songs being very personal, what's your favorite song that you've written or put out?
So my favorite song I've put out or recorded, because my favorite song, that period, I haven't put out yet.
Okay, well, what's the favorite song that you've put out that people could go check out after hearing this?
Definitely Grace.
Grace?
Yeah.
And why is Grace your favorite?
I feel like I've grown a lot musically the past year. And I think if you look at my music, every year I've gotten a lot better. This past year, I think, was the most amount of growth I've seen personally. And that's the only song I've put out that I've recorded this year. You know what I mean? All the other songs I have out, I recorded last year. And some of them are good, but they're not personal. You know, I like I like to make my songs about a specific situation. And a lot of the songs I was putting out before were just, I was thinking, you know, what would sound good? What would make a hit right now? What's catchy? Whereas now I just write what I feel. And if it sounds good, it sounds good. If it don't, it don't.
Do you think growing up in a small town like Newcastle, I don't know if we want to drop that or cut that out, but growing up in a smaller town, do you think that's affected your music versus, let's say, if you grew up in Los Angeles?
Definitely. In different ways, and I'm sure in ways that I don't even know. But I'd say the biggest way is, you know, everybody knows everybody. So it's kind of like embarrassing in a way. Not at first, you know, it's like it's hard to take that first step to put something out. You don't know how people are gonna take it. You know, your friends at school are all gonna hear it. You're gonna walk into school and the entire school is gonna know you dropped a song. Basically, where I live. Whereas if you come from a big, you know, 6A school in Florida or something like that, you might drop a song and just your circle knows about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, even with the podcast and with streaming on Twitch, sometimes it's tough for me to really put it out there to everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got to do it. Just be
Yeah,
yourself,
end of the day,
put it
confidence.
out.
Confidence in yourself and knowing that you love what you're doing and being proud of that.
That's the main thing is never worry about what someone else is going to think. If you like it, you like it. And that's what I do with my songs. I try not to think about other people. It's just if I like the song, I like the song.
I feel like that's a good mindset when it comes to that.
Yeah, for sure.
So growing up in a small town, there's obviously other local rappers. So who are your like top 3 local rappers?
Top 3 local rappers right now. I'm gonna take Pedro off the list. He's number 1, but I feel like he's a little bit bigger than local right now when I think about local rappers. So he's at the top of the list, but let's take him off real quick. I'd say Trent Birch. His rap name is For the Clout. He's from Richmond.
Okay.
He's really solid. He's got his own unique sound, unique flow, and every song he makes is just, like, it leaves me thinking, how did he come up with that? Literally every song he does. And another one I'd say is my buddy Reagan Busby. He's also from Richmond. His rap name is Hazard. But he's just really intellectual with his lyrics.
Yeah, I've heard a feature of his on one of your songs, and
Yeah,
I will
for
have to
sure.
agree with that for sure.
He inspired one of my when I was talking about earlier, my favorite song period is one I haven't put out yet. He inspired it because listening to his lyrics, he says a lot of metaphorical stuff, and that's something I wasn't good at. And so I was like, dang, I need to get better at that. And so I tried making some more metaphorical music, and that's the song I came up with. So definitely Reagan. Number 3, that's a tough one. There's a lot of people. I like listening to local rap, supporting local artists and stuff like that. So I listen to a lot of them. If I had to pick one more, that's a tough one. I'd say probably Lil Sid. I'm probably forgetting somebody. I'd have to say Lil Sid.
Okay, so you had For the Clout, Hazard, and Lil Sid as your top 3?
Yes, sir.
I haven't heard 2 of those. I'd say that's a solid top 3. And then Pedro's he's got a bigger buzz than I would say local. So
Yeah, definitely.
but he came from around here, so I see. That's a good list.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely have to check those 2 people out I haven't heard of either.
For sure.
Phenomenal. Moving on from local to famous, if you had to pick a famous rap to collab with, who would it be and why?
I'd say first off, NF. I feel like I like talking about God a lot in my music, and just deeper stuff. I think NF would be a good one. Hopefully someday.
Yeah, that would be awesome to hear, really.
Yeah, for sure.
And finally, on the question part, what would be your favorite song to play while driving? What do you jam to?
I'll usually have like a favorite song that lasts about 2 weeks. Right now it's DTB by A Boogie.
Okay, you got to respect the A Boogie pick.
For sure. I listen to a lot of mashups like Juice World and X and Juice World and Peeps and stuff like that. There's this channel that mashes them together and makes really dope shit. I listen to a lot of that too.
Okay. All right. That's a respectable channel. Do you feel, I'm gonna just branch off real quick. Did any of those three artists have any effect on your music or anything like that?
The three local rappers.
No. Juice World, X, and Lil Peep. Because I know a
Juice
lot of
WRLD,
people
X, and
say
Lil
that
Peep.
like they helped them in a big way. I didn't know if they helped you, maybe in your music, or if they've helped you in your personal life.
I'd say, I mean, Lil Peep had a big impact on my life. I never heard of him until he passed, unfortunately. But when he passed, honestly, I started listening to his stuff, and I thought it was horrible. And then one day I had a bad day, and one of his songs came on, and I checked him out again. I was like, damn, he's crazy with it. He's got his own style, and he changed a lot of shit for music for sure. And so Lil Peep, definitely. Juice and X. I mean, everybody listens to Juice and X.
Okay.
I wouldn't say they had a particularly massive impact on me, but like I listen to them a lot for sure.
Alrighty.
Awesome. Well, with these questions concluding, what about upcoming events? Do you have any specific upcoming events you'd like to shout out on here?
May 22nd, I'm gonna be at the Mad Frog in Cincinnati.
Well, let's get a little crazy in here.
Let's
Little
get wild.
birdie told me about your 3 personalities. Can you?
3 personalities: Rippy Weaver, Sippy Weaver, and Trippy Weaver. They're all dead right now, though. I'm sober C.More. I don't support that, but so I used to be a hoodlum back in the day, and me and my friends made this. It's so dumb, bro. I don't even know if I want to talk about it, bro. It's so dumb. We made this little group. We used to smoke a lot of weed, and it was called the Rip Gang. It was something stupid. We were all sitting there high, and my friend's like, pass it to DLR. I'm like, who the fuck is DLR? He's like, Daddy Long Rip. I'm like, so he just comes up with Daddy Long Rip on the spot. And then, so my other friend's like, I'm Jack the Ripper. And I'm like, I'm Rippy Weaver. So we made the Rip Gang, you know what I'm saying? Shout out the Rip Gang. And Rippy Weaver was a hoodlum for sure. That's my alter ego.
Okay, that's honestly one of the funniest things I've ever heard in a sit-down circle like that. Like, that's a gas name, actually.
Which one, Rippy Weaver?
Yeah. So did that same thing happen with Sippy Weaver and Trippy Weaver, or did you just kind of branch it off yourself?
I mean, the one that came up with Daddy Long Rip, we were drunk one day, and he's like, you know what I am now? I'm like, what? And he's like, Daddy Long Sip. I'm like, now there's Jack the Sipper, Sippy Weaver, and Daddy Long Sip. And then,
So is he also known as Daddy Long Trip as well, or?
Daddy Long Trip has never taken a trip.
Okay.
Trippy Weaver's the only one to branch out into that field.
All right.
I wouldn't recommend it. Wouldn't recommend it.
Alrighty.
But Rippy Weaver was crazy, bro. My specialty was just, they would peer pressure me into doing some crazy shit, and I'd be like, no, and they'd be like, Rippy Weaver would do it. And that shit would get in my head, bro. I'd be like, dude, I gotta do it. That's when Rippy Weaver would take over. I used to Wu-Tang blunts and everything like that. I swallowed so many roaches, I got a stomach ulcer in high school, and I was puking up like blood and for like 2 weeks. It was rough.
Okay, so Rippy Weaver really went after it.
That's when Rippy Weaver retired, though. I realized there's no point being a dumbass.
While he was active, what's the most trouble he got into?
Most trouble Rippy Weaver got into? You mean with the law, with my parents, with my shorty?
You know what? We'll go through all 3, but we'll start off with your shorty.
With my shorty. Okay. Well, old shorty was kind of crazy. I wouldn't say this is Rippy Weaver though. Like this is just C.More.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I had an old girl best friend that I hadn't seen for a long time. Shorty was asleep beside me, and I knew she was crazy. So my friend hit me up and asked if I wanted to hang out. It's like 2 a.m. I hadn't seen her in forever. She was like, "Yo, let's get the group back together." Like it wasn't me or just her or anything. It was a group of a few girls that I used to hang out with. And I knew if I woke my old lady up, she was not going to be going for that. So I had to slip out the crib. I wasn't even on no sneaky shit. I'm loyal. But a few minutes later, she calls me and starts going berserk. Got my ass beat when I got home. I don't know if that's even the most trouble I got into with my shorty. There was a lot of scenarios like that. A lot of them. That's just the one that came up to my head off rip. But, yeah, she was swinging the 1-2 McGregor, the 3-4 Mayweather.
Did she
Whole
rock your
type of
shit?
Shit like that. I was bobbing and weaving.
How many times you get caught though?
How many times? More times than I can count, Jacob. More fucking times than I can count.
So she really had hands at the end of the day, right?
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't say she had hands. I watched her get her ass beat by one of my friends. That was a girl.
All right, so you saw her lay down the game plan. Why didn't you execute? You clearly knew how to counter.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you knew her plan of attack, and you didn't counter back.
I don't stand for hitting females.
Okay, so you're not gender fluid?
Gender fluid. I don't think that's the correct term.
I don't think it is either.
I don't think that's the correct.
You don't play with the 3-hit rule. You get 3 hits on me.
Okay. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
I feel though. I've only had to act upon that 3-hit rule once, and I said, "You hit me one more time, and you're gonna be pinned on the ground."
It's a rough scenario.
But that's it. You never put your hands, but I mean, I'll pin down. Like, let's calm down now. Like, let's take a chill pill.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it's talked about enough how much abuse males go through in a relationship. You know, I don't think that's talked about enough. And,
I agree.
I feel like it's not just me, you know.
Definitely.
I feel like it's not just me, but no one cares if it's the dude getting beat. Like you see the video that was trending on TikTok of the dude standing there singing. What's he singing? Don't you know when I come around? Straight rocking his shit. Shorty starts rocking his shit. Nothing happened to her. You know what I'm saying? You could tell that dude is sad. He's looking at the camera trying not to cry.
Tears in his eyes.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Justice for my mans.
I mean, honestly, I do think with men and especially toxic relationships, it should be talked about way more. Especially even when it comes to legal problems, a lot of domestic violence. Even like the cops believe the wife right away before they even believe the husband.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject for sure. But I definitely agree that it should be talked about more. And like even if you're getting beat to shit, the second you lay your hands back on her to try to defend yourself, you're putting yourself in danger.
Yeah, and not even like danger from jail time, but like career-wise. And,
for sure.
And everything, like your whole life.
For sure, 100%.
Well, staying on the legal train, has Rippy Weaver had any legal problems?
Rippy Weaver. I've been arrested 3 times. Gang shit, you know. Nah, I'm not on no gang shit. The first time was actually kind of crazy. I felt kind of like what's the word? Sherlock Holmes-ish, bro. Listen to this, bro. I'm telling you. So I used to hang out at this trap house, and I pull up, and the plug wants a ride to El Chili's. He's like, "I'll buy your food. You give me a ride to El Chili's." So I pick him up. We're driving down the road. I see this blacked out truck. And I just had like a spidey sense tingling feeling, bro. I was like, that's the Federales. And I told him that. I was like, bro, that's the Federales. He's like, that's a truck. That's not the Federales. I shit you not, that truck followed us to El Chili's. We get down. We sit down at our table. We get our food. I got this big-ass plate of nachos. I pick my chip up. Go to eat it. And I look to my right, and there's a cop standing there. He's like, "You guys are all under arrest." Oh wait, hold on. I skipped something.
I was about
Let
to
me
say,
back
what?
up. Let me back up.
Okay.
Let me back up. So we're sitting there at the table. I get a call from my friend Blake, who had just pulled up at the trap after we left. He's like, "Bro, there's a bunch of like SWAT cars. There's a dude in a skull mask taking pictures of the house. Like the trap got raided." So I'm sitting across the table from the plug. I'm like, "Dude, the trap got raided." I just saw his soul leave his body. And then so we're sitting there, and he's like, "Oh, it's fine. It's nothing. Like, we're not there. They can't do anything." So I'm like, "All right, whatever." I pick my chip up and go to eat it, and there's a cop right there. And he's like, "You guys are all under arrest." So what they did was they followed us and then raided the trap while he wasn't there and found all the shit. Called in and was like, "Yo, arrest him."
So, how long did you have to sit down for that one?
I was 17, so I just got there. My parents picked me up. That was the extent of the trouble I got in was just my parents.
Okay, so being a rapper, now if we get this checked, you weren't snitching on anybody, were you?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say that might not look good on the rap sheet. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't never snitched. And then you asked about the other times. The other time, I did some real homie shit, and this case is over, so I can talk about it. But I just picked up like a couple ounces, and I had a bunch of carts in the back, and we got pulled over after leaving. And so he's like, he tells us to step out of the car. He doesn't say nothing. So me and my friend's on probation, and it was all his shit. So, and my record was clean, except for that thing that happened when I was 17, but they didn't even charge me for nothing. So we get out of the car, and he starts putting his gloves on, and he's like, "So how much is in the car?" And so I'm like, he didn't even ask us if there's anything in there. He didn't say nothing. He was just like, "How much is in the car?" And my friend's like, "Oh, there's nothing in there. We smoked like 4 hours ago." And I was like, "You know what? It's mine. There's like 2 zips in there. There's some carts in there." And it ended up working out for me because I just got 2 months of a suspended sentence, and because I cooperated.
Okay, and the suspended sentence, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like you're out of jail for that time, but if you fuck up again, you go back and you have to serve that time, correct?
So it's just like a probation for 2 months that I had to stay out of trouble. I've never been in no serious trouble or nothing like that.
That's good. That's good. You should keep it that way.
For sure. And I don't condone the use of any drugs, not even marijuana. Sober C.More in the building.
Okay, that's a respectable thing, but with it becoming more legal now, you still want it. Okay, here's a question: would you ever let your kids smoke, or how would you react if you caught them smoking?
How would I react if I caught them smoking? I don't think I'd trip too hard. I think I'd just have a long sit-down talk with them, because I feel like there's a lot more harm that marijuana does to a young brain that isn't developed yet than people think. And it's so accepted in society now that people don't think about it. But I know what it did to me when I was smoking. You know what I mean? And I've quit smoking for long periods of time and saw the benefits of not smoking, and then saw what happened when I started smoking again. And I think it could be a good thing for some people, but definitely not me.
Okay.
People that are more at risk for things like depression and just different. So I think marijuana has a lot worse effects than what people realize, at least on a brain that's not fully developed. And people that are more at risk to things like schizophrenia and depression and anxiety and stuff like that. Some people say it helps with anxiety. I found that it makes my anxiety a lot worse. Yeah. And
in my experience, I had to quit smoking because my anxiety would be too bad. And like I'm now on like antidepressants and anti-anxiety medicine, and stopping smoking has helped my mood so much.
100%, bro. Whenever I'm not smoking, I feel a lot more productive, and I feel like my brain's so crazy as it is. My brain always goes a million miles an hour whenever I add a drug into the mix, it's just too much for me. I have a lot of panic attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel that. I definitely had to stop. And I was getting unmotivated to do like schoolwork, to do, projects I wanted to work on. I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Here's Exhibit A, bro. Um, so I smoked weed every day for a long time, probably like 3 years, and I lost all motivation. I made it to my senior year. I dropped out of school. I wasn't doing shit, I was um I was being a bum for real. And I quit smoking, and that's when I started going to barber school. I worked 7 days a week and went to barber school 5 days a week. It's like 90 to 100-hour work weeks, once I quit smoking. And it wasn't nothing. Like, I had all this energy to just go all day long. And, like, really, I had zero free time. And I did that for almost a whole year. And lately, I feel like I got a little burnout, so I had to tone it back a little bit. I still go to school 5 days a week, but I work, 5 or 6 days.
Which still, that's a lot to do while maintaining that type of schedule. So,
yeah, definitely.
While smoking, you don't think there was any shot ever you could have achieved that?
Oh, hell no. No.
Okay.
I feel exhausted when I smoke.
Did you ever feel like it helped your creativity side a little bit?
Definitely. That's the one thing. I think some of the best songs I've ever made was when I was high. Yeah, there's definitely an aspect to that. And that's one thing that's kind of hard, is I feel like maybe I'm not at my best writing-wise when I'm sober. But I've also made, I think my best songs I made when I was, like my top 3 best songs I made when I was sober. But then all the rest, I was high. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. And what would you rate your top 3 best songs?
What do you mean by that? What I rate them?
I mean, like, what are your top 3 best songs?
Okay. Top 3, they're all unreleased. I'd say 3 minutes inside my head. It's literally 3 minutes inside my head. I feel like I needed to make a track that kind of explains why I am the way I am. I'll be a little weird sometimes. And so that song kind of goes in depth of why I act the way I act, kind of the shit I think about, the my problems and things like that. And what was cool about that song is I pulled up this beat on YouTube. It's the best beat I've ever heard. And I was like, I can't make anything to this. It was so out of my style and what I thought my ability to do something on. And so I was just going to buy the beat and put it on my album just as a beat, because I loved it that much. I was like, I'm not even saying on anything on this song, but it speaks so much to me. And then one day I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to push myself. I'm going to write something to this. And I wrote what I think is my best song out of that. I'd say my second best song is a story I wrote. It's called, I haven't decided what I'm going to call it yet, either Pursuit of Happiness or Tyler's Story. It's based off of a true story. It's not exactly a true story, but it was my way of putting what happened to me into a song.
Yeah, that is a good song. I can tell all you guys I've heard that one. Actually, I've heard both of them. They're both phenomenal. But Tyler's Story or Pursuit of Happiness is one of my favorites.
For sure. And how I was talking about before, how typically I write my songs based off of like a specific thing that happened to me or a specific day. That song is, I wrote it about, this is kind of fucked, but 2 years ago on New Year's Day, I was going to kill myself, bro. And, I said, God, if you're real, you got to show me right now. And then some crazy shit happened. And so, yeah.
Kind of changed your perspective.
Shout out to God, for sure.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. Like, you asked for something like that, and something showed to you, and it made you.
Craziest
it changed your life.
Of my life, for sure. I feel like everything that happened in my life led up to that point.
What do you mean by that? Like, do you mean like you kind of accepted all like the things that have happened in your past after that, or?
It's a whole crazy story, man. That night, all of it made sense. Basically,
Okay.
I kind of understood why I went through what I went through and why I felt the way I felt. It was basically like, you feel this way for a reason. Like, I'm gonna use this to help other people. So you went through all this shit, so you can put it in your music and help people. Because you don't make the music I make without feeling the pain. It comes hand in hand. And at the end of the day, I'd rather, go through that and help however many people I help than just be happy my whole life and not having an impact on anyone.
Yeah, I know music is very important for a lot of people when it comes to their mental health, but
Definitely.
if anyone's watching this is going through something like suicidal thoughts or anything like that, do not be scared to reach out to friends, family for help. I mean, mental health is very important in your life, and you really have to make sure that you're in the right headspace.
Definitely. Definitely.
So, and what's your third one?
My third one. That's a tough one. I'd have to say it's Grace Part 2. Grace Part 2 is nutty. It's just the perfect toxic relationship song.
Okay. I don't know if there's a perfect toxic relationship, but
You
I mean,
know, well, it's the perfect toxic relationship song. So
okay.
if I will say, the people that haven't been through what I went through with a female or a boyfriend or whatever, if you're a boy or a girl, hate it. They say it's too repetitive. But the ones that have been through something like that think is the best song they've ever heard.
Because it's a constant cycle, so it
Yes.
needs to be like
There's
that.
a reason it's repetitive, because a toxic relationship is repetitive.
Exactly.
It's the same cycle over and over again.
All right. Well, those were phenomenal. Like, you explained those perfectly. But I do feel like we need to kind of end this on a more positive note. So I personally like to ask this question. Not everybody agrees with it, but what's your ideal woman?
Ideal woman. Man, that's tough, bro. I feel like I can't catch feelings for anyone. Like, I really don't know. Like, what I would like to see in a girl is passion, something that like drive, goals. She wants to be somewhere in life, and her actions don't contradict where she wants to get in her life. She works hard towards her goals. That's what I would like to say. But at the same time, I don't really feel like I haven't caught feelings for a girl in a long time. I kind of feel like I can't, to be honest.
I completely feel that. And I also agree with the passion and drive. I mean, I really would like a girl that is on the same intellect level as me. Not trying to be
Definitely.
egotistical or anything, but the ability to have, conversations about current world problems and stuff like that.
Yeah, a girl that's interested in what you're interested in, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like my problem is, I feel like I'm the only person in the world that thinks the way I think. And like, I don't think anybody really gets it. And that's what I want in a female, is someone that can understand the way I think and just give me the answers. But I know that's probably not going to happen.
I mean, it'll eventually happen. It just takes time to find somebody like that.
Yeah, for sure. I want a girl that I look up to, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
I think that's the most important thing in a relationship, is both partners should look up to their other partner, to respect them and, think that they're a great person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely see what you're saying. Because I know a lot of people, like, and it's when I first heard this quote, to me it was weird, but because I'm like, that just, like, I wasn't thinking about it in the proper way. But a lot of people will say, like, they want a girl that's like their mom. I'm like, that's weird, because I was just so small minded. I was thinking looks, but then if you think of, like, about a parent or a mom, they're driven, they care, they really got what you're looking for at the end of the day.
For sure. Shout out my mom real quick. I put her through hell for a long time, but we're on good terms now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anything you want to plug? Instagram, YouTube, anything like that?
YouTube is capital C dot capital MORE. And Instagram is Carter Morgan 01, or you can look up C.More Music, CMORE Music.
And where did you say you were gonna be in Ohio, and what day?
Cincinnati in May 22nd.
May 22nd. All right, guys, this has been episode of The Attic. I've been Jacob.
Jacob. I hope you guys enjoyed this different style of a podcast, more of an interview based. If you guys like this, put it in the comments what you thought about this. We'll have our links to Twitter and Instagram, along with C.More's links in the description. So make sure to fucking click on them.